Hey guys, so I know that you're expecting a video on astrology, but I decided earlier that that's probably a little too difficult for me to explain right now, so I'm going to need some time to make an outline and, make sure that when I record it flows smoothly. So instead, I decided that I was going to share a couple of interesting experiences that I've had in my life, and you'll see why. So, first story is I was 14. I had this dream that my dad and I were in this small plane and he was flying it, and we were in New York, and we were headed towards the Twin Towers, and then all of a sudden my dad lost control of the plane and we crashed into one of the towers. And I just remember upon impact, all I could breathe in and feel was just like a bunch of dust all around me, and all I could hear was people panicking and screaming, and I looked over to my dad on the right, and he was completely gone. He was dead, and it was in that moment that I, looked in front of me and I couldn't see anything, and I started to black out, and then I died. So I woke up from that dream and was kind of startled, of course, by it, because that was the first time I ever had a dream where I died, but I didn't think anything of it until 2 weeks later, when I was woken up really abruptly by my mom, and she was in her room and she had the news on, and so I got up and I walked in there and I was just like, what's going on? And I looked at her TV, and just then I saw an airplane live crashing into one of the towers, and of course I was very mixed with my feelings and at that moment, and I was just very taken aback because I had a premonition that this was going to happen and I didn't even know it. So yeah, really interesting. And excuse me. Excuse me, I think I need some water. Anyways, I hope you guys didn't see that. Anyways, never mind that. The next thing I was going to talk about was the first paranormal experience I ever had, and this is really, really cool, like really cool. And a couple of you on my Facebook know that this is true because you were there and it happened. So anyways, I decided that I was going to take out my JVC camera. It's like really small. It's like maybe like that big. And it also has a light on it, but at the time I decided not to turn the light on. So I faced the camera towards the living room, and it was pitch black. No lights were on. And my then girlfriend at the time was standing by the birdcage, and my cat was laying on the couch next to the birdcage, and I just, jokingly decided to say, I wonder if there's a spirit in here, and if there is, I wonder if we'll be able to see it. And I swear to fucking God, right at that moment, an orb shot right from the birdcage, and it zigzagged from the couch, and it just went straight into the camera, and it killed my battery. And what makes it so crazy to me is the fact that I basically asked if there was something in the room, and it fucking came out. But my cat, Curious, she was, like I told you, she was laying on the couch, but in the camera you can see her little headlights, like her glowing eyes, and you can see them following the orb. So she saw the whole thing, and I got that all on camera, and it was just fucking crazy. But unfortunately, I don't have that footage anymore because I was an idiot and accidentally deleted it by mistake. So yeah, my bad. But I have witnesses, and I won't say your guys' names, but I'll probably tag you in this video because you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, so that was the second most crazy thing I experienced. And then when I was a teenager, I don't really recall how old I was, but I know that I was probably younger than 16. My parents were like going through this weird phase of like trying out different religions and stuff. So like we would go to different types of churches and stuff, and I hated it because, for one, I was very antisocial, and for two, I was extremely against religion, and I still am. So so yeah, it was an interesting experience. But we ended up at this Unitarian Universalist church, and that was pretty interesting, actually. But I ended up meeting this guy there, and he was a parapsychologist, and he invited my dad and I to come to one of his classes one night. So we did. We went. And what he did is he said, I'm going to go ahead and leave, and I'm going to go to, you know, a number of places, and I want you guys to draw where I went or write down where I may have went. And so we did just that. He left, and, you know, we drew and we wrote. So he came back, and when he did, we all shared what we had drawn and written. And when it came to me, everybody got really, like, you know, surprised and just kind of shocked for a second, because I had guessed every single place that he'd gone to. Like, I drew everything. I drew every single place that he had gone to. And, yeah, it just, you know, really just tripped me out because that was, like, you know, the second time that I've ever had, like, a premonition, or just known that, you know, just known something. So yeah, that happened. And then another thing that was really fucking neat was I was I don't know per se exactly what I was doing, but the way things work for me is I start to research something, and then whatever I'm researching, like, leads me into deeper things. It's like I'm an investigator or something. I don't know how to explain, but I'm really good at research. And maybe it's my Mercury in Scorpio, but anyways, I ended up learning about North Nodes, and for the first time. And while I was learning about it, I came across this website that was talking about Carl Jung's background, and in it they mentioned that, of course, you know, he was a renowned psychologist, and he also studied astrology, and would counsel his patients, and actually, you know, ask them for their information, so that way he can calculate their charts, and he would pinpoint what their North Node was, and then he would discuss with them, you know, what they needed to do in order to complete their life's mission, because that's what your North Node is your life's mission. And as a result, he was able to help a lot of people. And the catch is if you really do work towards your North Node, then your life will start to flow really smoothly, and good things will always happen, and you'll just be happy because you're accomplishing what you were meant to do in this lifetime. So yeah, I was doing research on that, and you know, when I found out that my North Node was in Aries in the 3rd house, I also found out that Carl Jung had the same placement. And what makes this experience just, you know, completely crazy and weird in and of itself is that I had actually said to one of my friends, I verbalized, I was like, I think that we choose the time that we're born, and the month and the day and the year, and I think that we choose everything that we're going to experience. Like, we choose the birth chart, the natal chart, the astrology chart that we're going to have in our next life, and, you know, before we get there. And you know, I had said something to the extent of that. And while I was at this website, you know, discussing Carl Jung and everything, I kid you not, they had quoted him to the exact words that I had said, exactly the same way. It was identical, purely identical. And my mom always laughs at me because a lot of the time I tell her I feel like I'm Carl Jung reincarnated, because I think so much like the way he does, and we both have a Capricorn rising, and our North Nodes are the same, in the same placements, and everything's just so trippy, and I've like quoted him to his precise words. So yeah, it's just weird how I know shit. Like, I have a really good intuition, and if I could explain it from an astrological perspective, I'd have to say that the reason why I have a good intuition is because I have a Scorpio stellium in my 10th house, and what a stellium is basically is when a person has at least 3 or more planets in the same sign in one house. And basically what that does is it just makes a person exhibit that much more of that sign's characteristics in their personality, and whichever house it's placed in is where a lot of that energy will be focused. So if that makes any sense. But where was I going with this shit? Now I'm lost. Well, anyways, fuck it. My ADHD is getting to me. I can't remember. So, yeah, those are just a couple of crazy things that have happened to me. And, yes, I remember now. Yes, I do remember. I was saying that I have a really good intuition. It's because of my Scorpio stellium. Yeah, okay. And also it's because I have Neptune conjunct my rising sign, but it's from my 12th house, not my first house. So it's similar to me having a Pisces rising, and Pisces are just very intuitive people all around. So it being on the rising sign makes it that much more dominant in my personality. So it's like a tie between my stellium and that conjunction with my intuition. So yeah, just really fascinating. But like I said, I'll go ahead and make that outline for the next astrology video, and I'll explain everything really clearly and smoothly so that way you guys can understand it. So anyways, yeah, enjoy that, and I guess I'm done, and I'm not so antsy now that I got this damn video out. So have a good night, everybody, and I guess I'll be making a video tomorrow. See you later.